The American Air Force has existed for many years. Since its founding in September 1947, the company has undergone numerous modifications as technology and the situation of the aircraft industry have changed. Since its beginnings in the late 1940s, there have been so many changes that it may not even resemble what it was back then. What we can discover about the US Air Force is also astounding. Despite being one of the 5 military branches with the youngest membership, its power is obvious. The US Air Force has a unique history that most people are unaware of, including conducting special missions, breaking sound barrier records, and even following Santa. Welcome back to another episode of High Technology. Join the club as we unravel high-end technologies on the planet by subscribing to this channel and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss any exciting videos in the future. Today, let's discover the surprising facts that we might have not known yet about the US Air Force. Number 1. The Air Force tracks Santa. This might sound like a very weird one, but it is a thing. On December 24, 1955, a newspaper advertisement advised children to telephone Santa at the provided number. The US was contacted at the phone indicated Command for Air Defense. This tradition currently handles calls from over 200 nations, and the colonel on duty ordered his crew to provide all children Santa's current whereabouts. The North American Aerospace Defense Command then launched NORAD Track Santa, a cute little feature that allows people to follow Santa as he travels around the globe. Number 2. It used to be in the Army. The Aeronautical Division, which eventually became the U.S. Army Air Force, was established on August 1st, 1907 by the U.S. Army Signal Corps. The Army Air Forces was created in response to the expanding role that Army aviators were playing in organization and mission, as well as the requirement for a more independent command structure. The United States decided to keep aviators as a part of the Army, even though many other countries have previously formed autonomous air forces when it was first created. The Air Force was divided into a separate military arm by the National Security Act of 1947. The Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, was also founded under the same law. Which leads us to fact number 3. Number 3. The Air Force shares its birthday with the CIA. This is a little known but interesting fact, and one that was definitely worth sharing. The US Air Force actually shares its birthday with the CIA. The National Security Act of September 18, 1947 created both entities. So when one celebrates its birthday, then the other one does as well. Not bad, really. Number 4. An airman first broke the sound barrier. The sound barrier was this mythical barrier for many years that nobody thought could be broken. Not in a piston engine powered plane, at least. However, in 1947, Chuck Yeager took the Bell X-1 to the speed of sound, becoming the first man to officially break the sound barrier. Yeager had been a legendary fighter pilot for the Air Force in World War II. Mind-blowing, or shall I say, sound-breaking. Number 5. Airmen welcome their new commander by stomping on his or her roof. In the Air Force, it is customary to roof stomp or make noise while others are pounding on windows and doors to welcome a new commander or to mark a special occasion. Almost like a Walking Dead episode without the zombies. Number 6. They built a supercomputer out of Sony PlayStations. Believe it or not, the US Air Force also knows a thing or two with technology and engineering. To analyze HD satellite imagery, the Air Force Research Lab constructed a supercomputer known as the Condor Cluster. The 1,760 PlayStation 3 consoles that make up the supercomputer are all used. Unexpectedly, it ranks as the 33rd most powerful computer in the entire world. I'm pretty convinced that the Air Force is coming in full package. Number 7. Airmen get hairier every spring. Every year, airmen take part in a tradition known as the Mustache March, where they grow mustaches throughout the entire month of March in memory of a USAF legend, Triple Ace, and World War II and Vietnam veteran Brig General Robin Olds, who is frequently regarded as one of the greatest fighter pilots of all time. Number 8. An ace isn't just a good pilot, they're the best combat pilots. A pilot is considered an ace after taking down 5 or more opposing aircraft. The greatest jet ace in USAF history is Joseph C. McConnell, a triple ace who downed 16 MiG planes over the course of 4 months during the Korean War, including 3 on his final combat mission. His achievement is still valid, however, the real percentage of pilots in the Air Force is barely 4%. The fact that the name Air Force implies that aircraft are the primary weapon utilized by the armed forces is shocking. Number 9. Airmen respect North Dakota. North Dakota had so many USAF nuclear weapons when the Cold War was at its worst that had it broken away from the Union, it would have become the 3rd largest nuclear power in the world. We're not engaged in a nuclear conflict, so you probably didn't notice that it's South Dakota and not North Dakota. Number 10. Some airmen took the live and fame part of the Air Force song to heart. Among the famous people who served in the Air Force were James Stewart, George Carlin, Willie Nelson, Hunter S. Thompson, and Johnny Cash. While still working in Hollywood, Stewart flew missions in both World Wars II and Vietnam and attained the rank of a brigadier general. And speaking of Hollywood, number 11, Chuck Norris was also a member. While Chuck Norris was stationed in Korea, he realized he wasn't physically able to do his job as an air policeman, now called security forces, and developed an interest in martial arts. This is also where he earned the nickname Chuck, but Chuck isn't the only known celebrity who was once part of the Air Force. Other notable public figures include Ronald Reagan, who not only was the former 40th President of the United States, but also served as a captain in the United States Army Air Forces, and Morgan Freeman. Number 12. The Air Force boasts 2 presidents. In terms of those who have served in it, to have a US president in the Air Force is quite an honor, and the Air Force has been lucky enough to have 2 presidents serve in its ranks. President Ronald Reagan and President George W. Bush have both been part of the US Air Force in their lives. Number 13. Air Force One isn't a plane. It's not even Nelly's shoes. Technically speaking, Air Force One is a call sign. Although we tend to think of Air Force One in terms of the aircraft, it is actually a radio call name for any aircraft that carries the President of the United States of America. Therefore, Air Force One merely refers to the presidential aircraft. Marine One is the same as the Marine chopper carrying the President. Number 14. The Air Force has an official song. Some people could be surprised by this truth, or perhaps they won't be. However, the US Air Force does have a signature tune. The song's name, The US Air Force, is actually quite fitting, quite self-explanatory. Then there is a line in it that has become well known. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. Number 15. Their weathermen are special forces. At Fort Benning in Georgia, they attend Army Airborne School, and at Pope Field in North Carolina, Combat Control School, Water Survival Training, Underwater Egress Training, and the Hurlburt Field, Special Tactics Training. Although they can be attached to Marine MARSOC and Navy SEAL teams, their primary work partners are the Air Force and Army Special Operations Forces. Number 16. The Air Force is the only branch to directly fight the Soviet Union. During World War II, a dogfight over the Serbian town of Ni pitted the US against the Soviet Union. Both countries classified information about the incident, thus the outcome was unclear. Finally, you might be surprised to hear this. Number 17. The Air Force has an official band. Music is naturally intertwined in military life. The USAF recruits singers and musicians for entertainment and inspiration for the public and service members themselves. The Air Force actually has several bands and even a YouTube channel. Now you might want to subscribe now. As you can see from the Air Force, airmen do much more than flying these days. If you're more comfortable on land than in flight, you still have plenty of career opportunities available in the United States Air Force. You can train for almost every career field, including health and medicine, intelligence, nursing, special warfare, natural science, and more. What other things have you recently found out about the US Air Force? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you can always get to watch more incredible videos like this. This has been High Technology, serving you the best in cutting edge contents on the highest form of technology available on the planet. Until then, see you!